which runs these brands called Fasos, Behroo's Biryani, Oven Story Pizza, etc. Um, and these are basically delivery-only brands. So you will not see them on the high street. You will not see them anywhere else except for when you choose to order online. So that's in a nutshell what the business is. Cool. I mean, I can tell you the story in a number of different ways, but for the people who raise their hands, is there any particular aspect you want me to dwell on, like focus on? Is usually how to raise funds. Is that it? Okay, we'll have time for Q&A. We'll have time for Q&A later. You're going to tell me when to stop, right? So that we can go to Q&A. Okay. There is a timer? Oh, cool. Okay. Perfect. So let's get started. So we started on the high street with this brand called Fasos. Are any of you tried this brand? We are available in Thiruvananthapuram as well. So I'm just curious. Anybody? You have? Okay. We are in touch on LinkedIn, so you don't count. Who else? Nobody. Good. Oh, you have? Thank you very much. So this has basically been our evolution over the last 13 years. When we started to build a food business, we initially tried to do it like everybody else. We tried to go and take up good locations on the high street, set up shop and hope that customers will come. Very soon, in around 2003, 4 years down the line, we realized that basically 70% of our business is anyway is happening through delivery. And this is a time when Swiggy, Zomato, etc. was not there. So we used to have our own delivery fleet. And that was a revelation to us because we were also bleeding as a company. As some of you will know, the high street rentals for commercial spaces in India is some of the highest in the world, especially in places like Mumbai, Delhi, etc. So we were already at about 100 plus kitchens, and the company was bleeding, and we couldn't figure out a way to make it work. So this was an interesting insight that a lot of people are actually ordering for delivery for food. And we further found out that a lot of them had actually never seen our stores. They didn't know what a Fasos restaurant was that they were ordering. So this is also a time when e-commerce was taking off. Not yet food, but other e-commerce was happening. So we kind of took a leap of faith and we went delivery only. So instead of taking real estate on the high street, we would go 3, 4. So basically we started off thinking of it not as a location, but as a delivery hub. So we could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be, the people are not coming to your store. So as long as you're centrally located and you're able to deliver a particular area, you're fine. So that's how we went from, the high street stores that you see to a delivery only kitchen. And subsequently, of course, we realized, and we'll talk about this in more detail, but essentially, since customers are not coming to you and they don't know, where their food is coming from, so there was no need to do just one kind of food. There was no need to be selling. Fasos is a wraps company, so there was no need to sell only wraps. And we subsequently extended the operation. We launched a biryani brand, which doesn't work here. I'm told the local biryani is fabulous, but it works in a lot of other places. It's called Behroo's. We have a pizza brand called Oven Story. And there are certain other brands which are not so well known. There's a brand called Lunchbox. There's a brand called Good Bowl. There's a brand called Biryani Life. There is a brand called Sweet Truth. All of this comes from the same kitchen. So when you open a delivery app, when you see Swiggy, in fact, I was very happy last night. I opened the app at 12, and I saw 3 of our brands were operating at 12 a.m. There was nothing less. So that's, for the end customer, they have no idea it's coming from the same kitchen. For them, it's an independent. So that's basically what an internet restaurant is. So yeah, over time, that list that you see there, some of them are our brands. Some of them, and we realize that this is a problem for the retail industry in general. That if you are a restaurant, just think of it as a business. You go to a high street, you take a location, you spend all your money investing into all the decor, and you hope that it works. Tomorrow there is a flyover that comes up, suddenly a good location is a bad location. Tomorrow a new mall comes up, you are in one other mall, it's a bad location. So it's intrinsically a very risky business, and you will see that the failure rate for a food business anywhere in the world, especially in India, is about 65-70%. Just look at any high street, you will see how many shops keep opening and keep closing. And we'll see why that is the case. So, so today what we have done is we run our own brands. We have about 14, 15 of our brands that we run. And we have also opened it up to other brands. So for example, Naturals Ice Cream is about 170, 180 of our locations. It's a store and ship. So when you're ordering Naturals Ice Cream, you have no idea it's coming from my kitchen. Mad Over Donuts, you can see some of those names. So this is the key insight, which I was referring to earlier, that initially we were just Fasos, and Fasos for delivery only. And this is a time when apps started coming up. Zomato, Swiggy was just starting. McDonald's had their own app. Domino's had their own app. And obviously, we at that time we used to take orders from our website, and so obviously we had to build an app. Now, when we made an app, the real question was, why will anybody download our app? And because you will not have one app for pizza, which is Domino's, one app for burger, which is McDonald's. So that is where we started thinking we can't just sell wraps for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We'll have to do other things. And we tried to sell, because Domino's was on a big growth path at that time. And we started to do pizza under Fasos. We tried to sell pizza under Fasos brand name. And the feedback we got was very interesting. The feedback we got was, customers said, if you are going to sell me pizza under Fasos brand, then when I come to Fasos, I am coming to spend 200 rupees. So whether or not you sell me pizza or wrap, but you can't charge me more than 200, which got us thinking. So this is how we think of food consumption. A lot of people think of it in terms of cuisine, in terms of youngsters, old people, but actually we feel it's about occasion. Food, the choice of food that we order depends on the occasion for consumption. So if you look at this chart, is this clear to you, what this chart represents? So basically, there can be a regular meal or an indulgent meal, and you're ordering for yourself, or there is more than one person. This is the entire playbook for all restaurants in the world. There are dots somewhere. So, for example, your office lunch is somewhere here. It's a single. You don't want to think a lot. You want something that will come quick. So of course, you have decided to go out, we have lost you. But if you're ordering in, probably you will think, what comes quicker. You will probably look at a few things. Similarly, if you look at this is probably a pizza. Somebody is leaving the company, somebody is coming into the company, welcome, thank you, whatever. So that's your group serve, but value, regular. Similarly, so basically these are all different occasions where a particular kind of brand fits. So we didn't capture it. Obviously, cuisine comes after that. But typically some cuisines are like that. Pizza is typically here. A biryani, I don't know about Kerala, but typically on an office day, you will very rarely find somebody having a biryani by himself, at least in most places. So that for us is an indulgent kind of occasion. And of course, there is the more, so So that's what we took as a canvas, and this is how we think about our brands. What is the occasion that you target? So for example, so Wendy's also, by the way, we run the master franchisee for Wendy's in India, and they are in 170 locations. We put them up in 170 locations in less than a year. The reason is that we are not setting up new restaurants. They are just coming into our existing kitchens in a small space, and we will put up a few which is offline as well. But the point I was making is that if you think about, if this is where you start, when you're starting a brand, then everything follows from here. So for example, if you look at our Faso's menu, you will see very little, more than 1% kind of combos. It's usually a single person meal. You'll have a wrap and a fry and a drink, something like that. Whereas if you look at, let's say, a Banerjee, you will see it's mostly meant, you'll have to really struggle to find a one biryani. It is for 2 people, 3 people, kilo, this, that, because that's the occasion we're targeting. So that decides also how you promote, how you discount. Everything follows from there. So for example, you will never find a Banerjee ad. You will find, but that's when we don't meet targets. But typically, you will not find a Banerjee ad saying, "Oh, biryani for 99," or today take it 5 rupees or 50 rupees discount or whatever. Typically, it will be like if you're celebrating, if there is a special occasion. So that's the communication. I don't care whether or not you come back to me every 15 days, because that's not the occasion. I'm happy if you're ordering Banerjee once in 6 months. That's fine. So that's how you promote that. Fasos, on the other hand, if I have your number, I will ping you every 10 days just around lunchtime. That are you ready for lunch? Why don't you take this offer? Because through all of this, I also know your consumption habits. So I know that, for example, I'm sure in this part of the country, there are days on which we go vegetarian, right? Tuesday I'm vegetarian. Festivals, Shravan, in Bombay it's Shravan, where people stop eating non-veg altogether. So there is a pattern of consumption. So for example, if you are a consumer of the mutton wrap in Fasos, I know you are a good customer for Banerjee biryani. I can tailor a mutton biryani offer only for you. So that's the playbook that we get. That's the model. And you'll see it's very interesting because India is a country with many different countries, right? And food changes every 200 kilometers, the language changes, the food changes. So for example, this brand that we have, Lunchbox, this we are able to do occasions. So Lunchbox is the only brand in India which can serve you a Navratri thali across India. When you don't eat a particular kind of salt, you have a particular kind of flour. This time we in fact did a Onam thali. And the Onam thali probably will not do great in Kerala, but is going to be doing great in Delhi, because that guy can't find it. So that's how we tackle these occasions under different brands. We would typically tend to do this. We'll have time for questions. But I think it's pretty obvious. So this is basically what our kitchen looks like today. And you must be thinking that it's a very complicated thing within the kitchen, etc. But think of it as a car factory. Every time you launch a new model, you don't have to put up a new factory, right? So the way this kitchen will be organized is there will be finishing stations for various kinds of food. So there will be, so typically the model is the carbs, the rice, the rotis, the parathas, whatever, they will be made fresh in the kitchen. We have proteins, which will be blast frozen. And there are sauces, which are ambient, mostly. So all of this comes together in a dish. And they will have this kind of thing. So there will be a station with a heating surface. There will be a rice making station. which is making 5 different kinds of rice. There is one rice which goes into Behroo's. There is some rice bowl rice. There is a lunchbox rice. But that's a rice making station. And there is a workflow. So all our kitchens are manned by people who have no culinary training. They are not chefs. They just follow SOPs. So you have to break it down to a point where anybody can do it. That's how we think about any dish. So that's why some things we will not do. If it involves somebody taking a judgment, like tasting it or is the salt okay or anything, we will not do it. It can't be done. So yeah, this is the scale of operations. Now, think about why this works in India. Why do we need this model in India? And like I told you, our story with Fasos, right? We basically could not make that business work because we were renting high street space. So these are self-explanatory charts, but the key point here, we have some of the lowest per capita rate of retail, organized retail. I cannot go and take up any space, right? Because I have to get licenses, I have to do all of that. So I can't make it work if the space is not legal. So if we look at legally available retail space in India, it's among the lowest in the world. And this is what makes, if you go to any major city in the world, like London, New York, whatever, Singapore, if you walk down a high street in an office area, you will see plenty of good restaurants, both sides of you. You go to Bombay, you go to Delhi, you go to Calcutta, you walk out for kilometers together, there is nothing. Because this is the problem. You cannot do it, profitably. So basically, this is the story of India, right? If you think about anything that involves building infrastructure, we have lagged behind. We basically digitally leapfrog it, right? So we never had enough telephones, but mobile phones happened. We did not have enough schools. So all these edtech businesses came up. We did not have enough bank branches, so UPI happened. So all these infrastructure problems, basically India takes a digital leap. And so that's, I think, the bigger story of what's going on. So like I explained to you that we like to think ourselves now as a platform. So we do not have the entire range of restaurants that a Swiggy or a Zomato has. They have every restaurant in the world. We don't have every restaurant in the world. But we have, in any particular area, if you open a Swiggy app or a Zomato app, and we have our own app, which I'm going to make you download at the end of the presentation. But you open that, you will see that unknown to you, there will be 5, 6 restaurants, which are ours, which are coming from the same kitchen. So this is what has happened to QSR. If you look at in the last, because there's generally a consumer slowdown in the country. This is the QSR chart. It's usually -5 to +3% kind of growth. We have been growing at the rate of 20% year on year on year. That is the reason that for the reasons that I explained to you. We are able to overcome the seasonality because we have a lot of options to serve up to you. So till this time, it kind of seems, I hope it seems simple. But you have to understand that there is a lot of complexity. Now, if you think of our kitchen, the photo that you saw, orders are coming in from from Swiggy, from Zomato, from ONDC, from our own app. These brands that we have, they have their own apps. Like Oven Story has its own app. It has its own website. We have we have a tie-up with IRCTC. So we can actually deliver food to you at your train bunk in about 160 odd stations. So the orders are coming in from different sources. And it's like a factory. So we have, if you remember the photo, so every station has its own screen. The moment our order hits the system, it will come up to the guy who's in that particular station who has to make the food, and it will be dispatched. But now imagine, as long as it is running well, it's running well. But now imagine a situation where, let's say you have run out of one SKU. Let's say your mutton is over in the kitchen. I go on and all about mutton. I am Bengali and this is Kerala, right? We understand mutton, right? So it's a rare commodity. You don't waste it. So So imagine that it's over. Now you can, in a regular restaurant, you can go and tell the customers that mutton is over, order something else. For me, because mutton is over, so the mutton wrap is not available in Fasos. Mutton biryani is not available in Behruz. Some 3 lunch boxes which have mutton is not, because it's the same SKU, right, which is going on in different. So now if I have to go individually to these platforms and tell them, and this is, we have 340 locations. They're doing about 500 orders a day. So the moment something is unavailable and order comes, you don't have it, it's chaos. Because now the customer will call saying, you know, where is my food, you have to go. And so the entire production is out of gear. So it's that important. So basically we had to build our own backend systems, which is what you see there. All this is software that we have built internally in the company, because before us, there was no concept of a multi-brand cloud kitchen. We invented that model in India. And obviously there was no software that we could get from vendors, so we had to make it ourselves. So basically these are the various systems. So right from, we have distributed production, we have logistics, which is run by a company called Cold Star at the moment. So it's a network of 345 kitchens in India. We also have some operations in the Middle East, in Dubai. We have about 13, 14 odd kitchens there. And it's fairly complicated, as you can see. So now, so this was basically the supply side of things. So that's how the food is made, that's how it's shipped. But we have a real risk to our business, which is on the demand side, because 70% of our business today comes from these guys, right? Swiggy, Zomato in India, Talabat, Uber Eats in the Middle East. And you know, while, so you have to understand, it's not as simple as they can, we are also their top supplier. We are the #1 customer for Swiggy in India. We're the #1 customer for Zomato in India, across, if you count all our restaurants. So it's a nice friendship, but you can never get too comfortable, right? Tomorrow they decide, okay, the commission is up by 20%. What do we do? So this is what we are trying to do as an insurance. Today it's about 20-25% of our business, which is our own channel. So we have this app called Eat Sure. I'm going to give you a coupon code at the end of it. You can download it. Abhi itna dur aaya ho, I'll sell something, no? Okay. So this app basically is on the demand side. And so how do I get somebody to download my app? Because obviously if you have Swiggy, you will have Swiggy, you will have Zomato. So this will be your second food app. What is the reason for somebody to have a second food app? So that's the question we try to answer. And so that's why you see, apart from you know, trying to get you to download the app, we also have putting up these kind of food courts. We have 5, 7 of them, and these are multi-brand. Again, this is the big advantage of this guy over a regular restaurant. If something does not work, I can just take it off. You can't do that in a regular restaurant. So if a brand is not working, I can replace it with another brand. But it's a multi-brand food court. We have a few of this, mostly in Maharashtra, in Gujarat. We're just starting to expand. But the idea here is that you can come into this store, and the first thing this guy is going to tell you is, sir, you don't have to come up to the counter. You can just sit, just download the app and order from where you're sitting. You don't have to count up. Now, my hope is that by the time you order, you'll forget that you've downloaded an app. Then at some point, you will notice the app and you'll open it anywhere in the country, and you'll see, oh, I can also order food. So it works not only when I go to this place, but I can also order in food. And you will keep the app, hopefully. So that's, so this is about 20% of our business from the demand side we generate through the Eat Sure app. But that's the larger vision, right? So because the business is about addressing all possible, if you remember that 2x2 that I showed you in the beginning, it's about addressing all possible locations of food consumption. So we want to be there whether you're ordering online, if you're going out. So that's the larger vision. So whenever we do events, we are on the train, we do concerts, we've done cricket matches. So basically, you don't need to go to, if you have a food court at a music concert, you want a Chinese, you want a Indian, you want a pizza, you don't have to go to 10 companies. Any of you organizing events, please remember that. You can just come to us, we will set it up for you. So yeah, so that's basically what the business is, and this is what the vision is. So basically, it's almost a flywheel, right? So today, let's say when we opened, I have never visited the kitchens. I'm coming here for the first time, and this happened, I think, somewhere around COVID in Kerala. But how did we choose the locations? I didn't go about, nobody went around asking, where is a good location to open a restaurant. Swiggy and Zomato told us that you open here because here people are searching for biryani and there is not enough supply of biryani. So we have 7 kitchens here, and all these locations, actually these guys tell us where to open the kitchens. They tell us what to promote, all of that. So essentially this is what we believe is the flywheel. Some of it will work. If some of our, for example, we are very weak on the rice front in entire South India. So our rice works in Maharashtra, it works in Delhi. It doesn't work in Calcutta where I am from, and it doesn't work in South India because we know our rice. We know what our biryani is, a good biryani is, and we are all very passionate about it. So on average, South India, Banerjee's sales are lower by 4-5 lakhs a month in every kitchen. But there is enough on the lunchbox side. We have not yet managed to do a good South Indian. We tried with a brand called Navarasam in Delhi. We couldn't. So if some of you have ideas about how to do that, I explained how the format works. It cannot involve judgment. Please feel free to get in touch. I have to say we have not succeeded very well with South Indian dishes anywhere so far. So is this flywheel clear, or do I need to? It's clear? Okay. So yeah, in summary, this is what it is. That the moment you have a customer-facing business, you cannot do more than one thing. The big one that's going to come up now, and I don't know if it's happening here already, is on quick commerce, right? How many of you have done ordered from Zepto Cafe? You have? They are reaching you food in 12 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. I think that's the next big disruption that's coming in food, because this is exactly what happened with delivery. When delivery started, everybody was like, it's not the same. You go to a restaurant, there's ambience, and then delivery, you cannot, there is a element of smelling the food and it's coming to you in a plate. It's not the same thing. So this has always happened in the history of disruption. You'll see this, that there is an existing player, somebody like us who has set up this entire backend. We will try to do better and better food, try to cut the delivery time by 1 minute. Today, quick commerce in food, they are serving samosa, Maggi, couple of things in under 10 minutes. So basically, it's a inferior product. They cannot match the variety, they cannot match the taste. It's an inferior product, but they are beating us hollow in service. What is going to happen is, we will keep improving the food incrementally. They will improve the food much, much faster. Because the moment they're already doing 300, 400 orders. So their food will get better. Their food will get better. They will learn to do a biryani. Something is going to happen. And we will all be caught. And just imagine this. There is no way a Swiggy or a Zomato can match this. Because they are taking, this is a marketplace model for them, right? They are taking it from an existing restaurant. They cannot go to an existing restaurant and say, you make something for me in 2 minutes. Because there are customers sitting there. There are 10,000 other things he's doing. Why will he bother to give you something in 2 minutes? So I think that's the new disruption that's going to happen in food very soon. But for now, this is the story. That you look at, let's say Yum Brands, which is a KFC, McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut. They have 3 separate teams, right? There's one team which is doing sourcing for pizza. There is one manager who is managing the Pizza Hut restaurant. There is another guy managing the supply chain for KFC. There's another manager who's... So in our case, is that one truck which is coming, which is also getting Faso's fillings, Behru's fillings, whatever it is, that's one supply truck. And there is one guy who is managing the entire show. So there you can imagine the operating leverage that we have over the traditional model. With that, the app is called Eat Sure. And if you download it, this is a coupon code. Give it a try. We are also going to be jumping on to the quick commerce soon. And I think that will be the real power if we can do it well. Because neither Swiggy nor Zomato can do this, we can. We have the highest, it is the largest installed base to do this. So with that, I have saved 15 minutes of my allotted time.